I'm getting old. Not really. I don't think 30 is really that old, but maybe I'm coping. I don't know. Anyway, while I may not be old quite yet, I'm certainly getting older. I first picked up a camera when I was 19 and did my first paid portrait shoot at 20, which I consider to be the marker of the beginning of my professional career as a photographer. And I haven't stopped. And I've been making a living more or less as a working photographer and videographer ever since then. And I've always had a few clear goals in my career, and I'm proud to say that I've hit a few of them, like making a living from my craft, getting certain cameras and types of lenses, even working for myself full time at one point. But there's one goal that took me the past decade to finally accomplish. So today, I want to tell you and show you what that is. And after I talk about that, I'm going to do a little Q&A section for the subscribers and returning viewers, so stick around for that if that interests you. What's up? My name is Walter. I'm a photographer and commercial filmmaker based in the southeastern United States, and on this channel, I'm all about trying to put the fun back into professional photography. So if that's something that makes you go, then subscribe for more crap from me. That was so stupid. So what is this goal that took me 10 years to attain? Simple. You're looking at it. I got my own dedicated studio space. Yay! This is literally only my second day in here, so there's still a lot to do in order to get it set up and functional as an actual studio, but I cannot be happier and more excited to be in here and to see how it takes shape over the coming weeks and months. I did admittedly get a little emotional when I was moving in over this past weekend, because it finally kind of hit me that after 10 years of doing this and setting that goal of having my own studio, I finally did it. Now, I probably could have done this a long time ago, but there seemed to always be a reason not to. Now, I'm no stranger to that feeling, as I tend to make excuses to avoid taking some of those bigger leaps. I probably could have gone full-time self-employed as a photographer back in 2019 in the town I used to live in, but I was too nervous. I didn't think I'd be able to make enough money to support myself, and I also was looking ahead to getting married the next year and worrying about being able to help support, a whole other person in my house as well. And I knew when I got married that I was also going to be moving to a whole new state, which as a freelance photographer can be very difficult. And actually, now that I'm saying these things out loud, I'm realizing that it's actually really good that I didn't try to go out on my own in 2019, because I had no idea how many factors were going to play against me there. I would have never predicted a global pandemic the next year. That, combined with moving to a whole new state, was basically a full reset on my entire freelance photography business. Now, it's been over 5 years since I took on that full reset, and I've been through a lot of change, both in my career and my personal life. And it's just crazy to look back on these past 5 years and think about how much change there really has been. So all that to say, after a lot of trials and changes in my life, I now finally have my own studio, and it's probably the most excited I've been about something in my work than I've been in a long time. Real quick, I feel like I need to clear up why I feel like I needed my own studio. I've been working remotely, more or less, since 2018. So as far as my day job goes, 2020 was not a new thing for my working environment. I was already very used to the home office life, and I liked it. I liked having my own space in the place where I live. No commute, no having to dress up for a work day, deal with people I don't want to deal with on a daily basis, all that good stuff. So why am I now so excited to not be at home every day? Well, one of those life changes I mentioned earlier was becoming a dad. My young and growing family has been featured many times here on the channel, as they are, of course, my favorite thing to photograph. I love them very much. But ever since we had our daughter 2 years ago, our house has become harder and harder to feel focused and motivated in. And I've still always had a good home office that is entirely my own space, a spare bedroom in our house. But as time goes on and our daughter gets older and more full of personality, I should say, our house really does feel more like a home. And that's awesome. I love that. Our home is a place of rest and play and intentional family time. Certainly not a place of business. And then the added layer here is that at our current house, my home office was in the smallest bedroom. So with all of my camera equipment and desk and computers and monitors and all that stuff, I've been bursting at the seams. And especially since I started doing this YouTube channel and it's been growing at a good pace, I was just way overdue to move into a space that fits my growing needs. So that's why I'm here. This place is so sick, dude. It's basically one big long room, which is absolutely perfect for a studio that also doubles as my office, a working space where I can spend all business hours if I'm not at a meeting or on a shoot on location. So on one side over here, I've got my desk and general office space. And on the other side here will be the dedicated studio for photo and video work. It's obviously very much nothing right now, as this is my second day in here, but I have a lot of plans to take advantage of its great potential for photo and video work. If you're a subscriber or returning viewer to the channel, you probably notice my inconsistent B-roll for product shots, like when I'm talking about cameras or lenses. But now with this space, I'm going to be able to have so much more room and options for A-roll and B-roll setups, and I'm just so excited to see what I can do with all that. Now, I also want to make a quick disclaimer that I did not get this studio just for YouTube. My channel is still tiny, and it would be very irresponsible to get a place like this just to make YouTube videos. That would be crazy. No, I am a working professional photographer and video producer, so the main reason I got this space, other than having a dedicated office to do all my admin work, is to utilize it for client work. So headshots, portraits, interviews, talking head videos, that sort of thing. Now, at the agency I work at, we've been feeling a little bit of that need to have a go-to studio space for that kind of work, and now we have it. So that's the main reason I'm here, but also being able to double up as my YouTube studio is a kind of a nice little bonus on top of that. Okay, now time for a fun little Q&A. Yay! I've never done one of these before on my channel, but I figured with a big change like this, it'd be a good opportunity to answer some questions that people have asked. Okay, so I made a community post on YouTube here a couple weeks ago, as well as on my Instagram through one of my stories, so I've compiled those questions together, and now we will answer them off the cuff. Okay, first question. What was your first camera? My first camera was the Olympus Pen EPL5, I think it was called. It is a now very old, very dated mirrorless camera, micro four thirds, when Olympus was still Olympus and not OM system, which they are now. It was not a great camera, but it was recommended to me by somebody who had one, and it looked cool, and I knew nothing about cameras at all. And this is when DSLRs were doing real well, okay? Nobody was using mirrorless cameras at all. Most people didn't really know what a mirrorless camera even was, and the people who were claiming that mirrorless was going to be like the next big thing and actually overtake DSLRs, those people were called stupid. And so I actually, now that I look back on it, was a little bit ahead of the game. But I quickly actually moved on to Nikon DSLR from that one before I moved on to Sony mirrorless from there. So anyway, the Olympus Pen EPL5, I think I'm getting that right, was my very first camera. I think I will always have a soft spot for that camera just because it was my first one, but I have not really missed it ever since I moved past it. Next question is, have you ever finished a shoot and it was the best shoot of your life and you pull out the staples, that was easy button, and smack that shit? No. The next question is, do you plan on doing travel photography? I would love to, but the answer is probably no. I am a dad with obviously a family that I like to spend most of my free time with. And so anytime I do travel these days, it is kind of when I have to, like for work or to shoot a wedding or anything like that. And so any kind of travel beyond that is not really a good use of my time because I'm not going to leave my wife at home with a child by herself, especially because she works as well. So my wife, not the child. We should put the child to work, though. It's time for her to start pulling her weight around the house. Anyway, I don't really plan on doing any travel photography just because that's not what my life is right now. Maybe I could have done some more of that before we had kids or before I was married, but just not my thing, I guess. This next question is a good one. It is, what has saved you the most time and or frustration between end of wedding day to full gallery delivery? This is a really good question because I have a very clear answer for it. The most obvious answer is AI culling. Now, I am the kind of guy who absolutely hates AI. I hate the AI revolution. I hate the fact that it's being shoehorned into every aspect of our lives. And so I've resisted it almost at every point. But I cannot sit here and tell you that Imagine AI doesn't have some amazing AI culling tools that allow me to cut out hours of culling work before I can even start editing photos from a wedding. So I'm able to put all my photos that are in this Lightroom catalog for this particular wedding into Imagine. I let it go. It takes, depending on how many photos it is, it takes like 30, 45 minutes. So I take a break from work for a little bit, come back, and then it's all like sorted into like a star system. So 5-star, 3-star, I think there's like 1 star. 5 stars, usually that's your best of the best. And then 3 stars is like, hey, these might be good, but you take a look. And then 1 star is like, don't even worry about a dog. So I use that pretty much for not even weddings anymore. I use it for any kind of shoot where I have like a lot of images to go through. So event capture and stuff like that. I use Imagine AI for that. I don't use Imagine for editing. I still want to have full control over that. but I cannot sit here and tell you that AI culling is not one of the best things that has happened to my workflow. I have no relationship with Imagine, so this is not me pushing anything on you. I just think they have a really good product, and they're not the only one who does this. So I think Aftershoot also has AI culling. There's probably some other ones out there. I predict over the next couple of years, Adobe is going to push out some kind of AI culling within Lightroom itself, which would be really helpful. But until then, we have these other tools that make it a lot easier. So imagine AI culling. That saves me the most time from end of wedding day to a gallery delivery. Next question, what is your dream camera? My answer on this one changes from week to week. Right now, it would probably be the Hasselblad 907X. I'm just a huge fan of the way those cameras look. The files I've seen from them are absolutely beautiful. And ever since getting into Fujifilm GFX, which is an amazing medium format system as well, I have been really, really enjoying that system, those bigger file sizes, the bigger sensor sizes. And so the styling of that 907X just looks like it is right up my alley. It's also like $8,000. So I'm not going to get one anytime soon, if ever. I know Hasselblad sometimes likes to send cameras out to creators so to test out and make videos about them. So Hasselblad, I wouldn't say no to one if you wanted to send it my way. Next question is, what's your favorite part about your job? And this is a hard one to answer because I feel like I have a few different jobs. I have a full-time day job as a video producer / director, and that is all in the commercial space. My favorite part about that job is when I get to be very client-facing, meaning I am interacting with clients either during the pre-production or production phase, like actually being on set. My job tends to be the guy who is that client-facing kind of role. So my co-department head, business partner, whatever we want to call him now, he is much more in charge of the creative stuff, and then I'm more in charge of that client-facing stuff. I love and really value human connection, and so I really like that part of the job when I get to interact with clients, and I get to be the one to kind of be the liaison between what their vision is and then what us as an agency, what our creative vision is, and help make that stuff come to life. So I really like that part of the job. My favorite part of wedding photography is just shooting the weddings, man. It is so fulfilling. It is so much fun to be trusted and given the honor and privilege and responsibility of capturing this very, very important day in these people's lives. And it just gives me a rush, this type of adrenaline that I can't really feel anywhere other than shooting something like a wedding. So love shooting weddings specifically, like being there at the wedding, photographing just real life moments at these weddings. It's probably my favorite part of that job. Favorite part of this, what is now kind of another part-time job, making YouTube videos, is actually writing. I really enjoy writing my scripts because I often come up with things get revealed to me by me as I'm writing. Anybody who likes to write or create things in general, maybe you feel this too, but like writing things down really helps me figure out what exactly I feel about a certain thing. But writing like 4 YouTube videos about photography really helps me get those thoughts out there as well and make them a little more clear in my own mind. So it's been very therapeutic to write for my YouTube videos. I really like that part. The next question is, what kind of work do you want to do more of? I just want more weddings. I want more weddings always. I could shoot a wedding 5 days and okay, maybe that's too much. That would kill me. If I could do like 2 to 3 weddings a month, that would be amazing. Just like constantly shooting, being around people, documenting, my favorite thing to document. I think that would be amazing. Dream job for sure. So more weddings, please. And that's all the questions I have. I'm still a very small creator, so I didn't get a ton of questions. That's okay. I'm fine with that. So if you're watching this video, you have more questions for me, leave them in the comments here below. Or if you go watch any of my other videos after this one, which, hey, that would be cool if you did that. You can leave questions about those video topics in those comment sections, and I'll answer you there. So I appreciate all of that. Don't expect this video to do numbers at all, okay? I'm totally fine with this being an underperforming video that appeals only to the people who've been following me for a little bit and might be interested in what I've got going on. So if that's you, thank you so much. I'm genuinely very appreciative of you and your support. It means more than you'll ever know, probably. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of what I do, please check out my website and Instagram. Both of those are linked in the description. You're free to DM me on Instagram if you'd like and ask me whatever you want. I love connecting with people there, and you can support what I'm doing on this YouTube channel, and see what I got going on back here as this continues to fill out. You can do that by simply liking the video and subscribing. both things that tell the dumbass algorithm that this is a video that more people should see. You can support me even further by checking out my Bushyfilm preset pack, again with the link in the description. And if you don't want to do any of that, that's totally fine, because I will see you in the algorithm in 6 months.